everyone is hyping up the new Luminion V from the Brilliant Stars set, but there's also another fish that happens to be a dragon that I think deserves some love as well. Roll the intro. What is going on, guys? It is Hitmonchanting here, and today we're bringing it old school, and by old school I mean talking about new cards on a text document. Today I'm going to be talking about Dracovish V, and this was released as a gym promo a while back in Japan, and we're getting it confirmed in English in the Brilliant Stars set that is coming out later this month. So I thought, man, this card is kinda cool. How can we make it work? And I went through a couple iterations, and this was the one that I saw and I was like, yeah, you know, I like that. I think that's pretty neat. So, like most of the other unviable cards, Arceus V makes them a bit more viable. I originally had Dracovish paired with Leafeon V and Leafeon V Star, which also was pretty interesting, I must say. But today we're gonna focus on Dracovish V and Arceus V Star. So now I bet you're wondering, what does Dracovish even do? What is this card? You might not have seen it before. I didn't know it actually existed until I saw the set list posting on PokeBeach, which is where I got this translation from. So we're gonna look at Dracovish V, 220 hit points. It's a dragon type, so no weakness, no resistance. And both of its attacks are very strong. It's got grass and water energy costs, but that's not very difficult to achieve when you take into consideration Melanie and Arceus V. So the first attack, Bite Crash, for a grass and a water, 60 plus damage. Before doing damage, discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. If you discarded a Pokemon tool card in this way, this attack does 120 more damage. That is insanely powerful. For 2 energy, think about it, you know? Somebody puts a air balloon on their Crobat, you boss up that Crobat for 2 energy, it's gone. And if you put a Choice Belt, that is also coming out in Brilliant Stars, on the Dracovish, if your opponent's active Pokemon has a tool card attached to it, you're going to be doing 210 damage. And that's what your second attack already does. So you might not even need to use your second attack, Dragon Strike, which is grass, water, water for 210 damage, but you can't use Dragon Strike during your next turn. That's 240 with the Choice Belt. Now, the reason I believe this card, I mean, it's not great, you know? That's what we're all about here. We're all about taking interesting cards and trying to make them work and trying to make some fun new stuff that you might not have thought of. The Bite Crash attack, I believe, is where this card really shines. Because think about how many Pokemon tools you have in the format, right? You go Tool Jammer. That's a instantly like notable card. That's in like people play it in Single Strike Urshifu. People play it in Leafeon. People play it in. Some people might play it in Jolteon. You know, people play it pretty much everywhere as like a one of. Speaking of Jolteon, the Elemental Badge, that's a tool card. Jolteon's very prevalent. Tool Jammer's also in Mew VMAX. That's another very prevalent deck. Best deck in the format currently. Suicune V, Cape of Toughness. Zacian V, Cape of Toughness. There's tool cards everywhere you go. Even Rapid Strike Urshifu has the Telescopic Sight. Pretty much any spread deck will have that Telescopic Sight in it. And the best part about Bite Crash is that before you're doing damage, you discard all the tool cards. So, before you do your damage, you discard that Tool Jammer on your opponent's active Pokemon. And then, you're getting that extra benefit of the Choice Belt. So that's something to consider. And then we're running a 3-3 line of Arceus V and Arceus V Star. Arceus V, everybody should know it at this point. Trinity Charge for a double turbo or 2 colorless energy. You can search for 3 basic energy and attach them to one of your V Pokemon. What do you know? Dracovish V already powered up in a turn. Then we have Arceus V Star Trinity Nova, which does the exact same thing with just 200 damage attached to it. But for 3 energy. That's very, very powerful. So that's why we're running a 3-3 line. I'll talk about energy in a bit. Starbirth is also good if you need to get a game-winning boss, or if you need to get maybe an escape rope or a switch, or a stadium card to bump something out that your opponent is using whatever. That is a very, very, very good V-Star power that has the ability to just win you a game. Just like that. And other support Pokemon include Lumineon and Crobat. Crobat is, once you bench it, you can draw till you have up to 6 cards in your hand. Pretty standard card. Lumineon is Tapu Lele GX again. You put it onto your bench, you grab a supporter from your deck, and there you go. The good part about having Lumineon in here is that you can use it to grab your boss, or you can use it to grab your Melanie, or you can use it to grab whatever you may want. And you can actually shuffle it back into the deck with its second attack. A double turbo and a water energy. We play both of those in this deck. You'll be hitting 100 damage because of the double turbo, and then back into the deck you can use your Lumineon again the next turn or the turn after, or whenever you find it or whenever. So that's an extra benefit if you're in a pinch and you need a pivot option. Maybe you can throw up your Lumineon, shuffle it back in. I believe that's what that attack does. I think it is. Yeah, it should be. Shuffle them back up and then put anything else up for next turn. Maybe Arceus V-Star to sponge a hit or whatever your heart desires. We're going to move on to some trainers and some items now. 4 of Choice Bell. That should be standard. Doing 30 more damage to Vs. V Pokemon. That includes V-Stars. 3 Ultra Ball, 4 Quick Ball. There's 100% room for more Pokemon searching cards. I chose to go with these. You can maybe run a 4th Quick Ball because we are pretty heavy on supporters, but the supporters is just to kind of help us ensure we get a good start and get down what we need to get down. Other than that, they can be Ultra Ball fodder, they can be Quick Ball fodder, whatever. Ultra Ball, I don't know why I chose the Japanese art, so you can't read it, but discard 2 cards from your hand, search for any Pokemon, get you that Arceus V-Star, get you that Dracovish, get you that Crobat, get you that whatever you need. Quick Ball, discard 1 card, but only basics. So Quick Ball's good, you can get anything, discard an energy to use for your Melanie, and then you can grab your Dracovish, or you can grab your Lumineon to find that Melanie, or whatever. So you can see there's a lot of synergy there. Then we got some other standard ones. We're rocking 2 Marnie, 3 Research, 2 Boss. You could actually go a little bit less on the Research or the Marnie. An idea that I had, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, is adding a Leon into this deck potentially, but we'll have to see how that goes. Now for stadiums, I was actually a little bit indecisive on what stadiums that I would put, because I figured Galar Mine could be good to trap something up there. Let's say you boss up something that's got a tool on it. Support Pokemon, most likely something with an air balloon. Like, let's say you boss up your opponent had a bad start, you boss up the Crobat, or you boss up the whatever, I don't know. You boss something up that's got a tool on it, maybe it's a Cape of Toughness, because maybe you're versing a Zacian V deck, or maybe you're versing Duraludon VMAX and you boss that up. It's got a big retreat cost. Normally they don't play air balloons and they play big charms or tool jammers, for example. Get your Bite Crunch off. That thing's stuck in the active and it's got less HP because of the because you get rid of the big charm. Something like that is what I was thinking. You can actually boss stuff up and get it stuck in the active. I might lean more towards a 4 line of Stormy Mountains though, just to ensure you're getting your Dracovish off consistently, instead of a 2-2 split, or maybe a 3-1, I don't really know. It's not something I can test really right now playing PTCGO, but that was just my initial thoughts. The stadiums, they aren't super necessary, other than the fact that they're extremely necessary to get rid of Path to the Peak, because Path to the Peak takes out 1, 2, 3 of your crucial abilities that you may need. Other than that, we're rocking a lot of energy search cards. We're rocking Capacious Bucket and an energy search. 2 buckets, actually. 2 buckets can find you 2 waters each, so 4 in total, and energy search is maybe just to find that one grass that you can't seem to get a hold of. There will be times where you just can't find your grass energy, and that's going to be the reason. Another card to consider playing in here will be Aurora Energy. You can use your Aurora Energy to help discard your water, Melanie that water onto your Dracovish, and then boom, you're ready for your attack. I also kind of filled the deck up a little bit more with 2 Escape Rope and 2 Switch, just in case you get stuck in the active because your Galar Mine. Dracovish has a 3 retreat cost, so that's not something you want to be manually retreating very often. And that's also why there's no Air Balloon in this deck, because if we put an Air Balloon in, Dracovish can't take full advantage. The only ones that can, well, everything else can, but Dracovish can't. And Dracovish is he's our special boy. He's our star of the show here. So that's why there's no Air Balloons in here. You could add them in, but my thought process was we have so many draw supporters. We have so many ways of getting cards, which is like our Starbirth ability if you're in a pinch, or Luminian V, or whatever. You can use your Crobat. You can use your Crobat to draw up to 6. You still don't get it. Put down the Luminian, grab a supporter, draw another 7 with your V-Search, or whatever. You can burn through a lot of cards pretty quickly in your deck. Other than our switching cards, I dropped 1 Fan of Waves and 1 Crushing Hammer in here, just to slow your opponent down a little bit, because you're not going to be one-shotting any VMAXs with this deck. That's not really the goal. The goal is to kind of disrupt their tool play and to do a lot of damage fast. Not necessarily a one-shot, but if you can end up getting to 210 by your second turn, you're knocking out most Vs, basic Vs. If you're getting to 240 with that choice belt, you're knocking out all basic Vs. So there's the potential for your turn 2 to have a fully powered Dracovish because of the Melanie and your attachments, or you Trinity Charge and you got that all up, so you can next turn you evolve to Arceus, you Starbirth, you get your boss, and you get your choice belt, and there's opportunity to take massive KOs very quick that might not necessarily be like you're knocking out Mew VMAX in one hit, but you're going to be hitting something crucial, and that's going to really slow your opponent down. And that's what the Fan of Waves and Crushing Hammer are for. I was originally considering 2 Fan of Waves instead of 1 and 1, but sometimes it helps to have something in the discard, like if you're versing Mew always comes to discussion. Getting a Fusion Energy in the discard is way better than just back in the deck, because they can just Eliza Sparkle and get that back. And then for the energies, we are running a 6-4-3 line. 13 energy in total, 6 water, 4 grass, 3 double turbo. Double turbos are for our Arceus and your Lumineon if you're in a pinch. You can maybe cut that down to 2, maybe add another grass in. I think the 6-4 is pretty good split-wise. Nothing really to say about that. I think it's a pretty good balance because most of your attacks are water-based. If anything, you can run with less grass. But to run with less grass, you would need to have something to get your energy back. Now, this is where I come in and I tell you some alternatives to this list. This list is by no means perfect. I just try and make something fun. This seems pretty fun. I might actually print out proxies and start trying this, because who knows how enjoyable this could be to play. But some changes I can see for the deck are Leon and an additional energy search. Those are pretty much my 2 main ones. Maybe for stadiums, you can go for a Training Corp, but that kind of contradicts your Melanie. I feel like the best play is to lean all in on a Stormy Mountains, or maybe split it up with a Galar Mine, depending on your playstyle, depending on the matchups near you, depending on what you find useful, of course. But a Leon could be very helpful in helping secure one-shots on V-Star Pokemon. Arceus V-Star has 280. Some of the other V-Stars have a lot less than that. You're not going to be quite reaching that with 240, but if you get to 270, you're almost there. And that's the benefit of playing the Leon in this deck, is that you can get up there really quickly and you can hit things much harder. Especially that damage could make a difference if you're playing against a stall type deck, like if you're playing Duraludon, or if you're playing Inteleon VMAX, the double gunner one from Fusion Strike, that play healing cards like Yell Towel or Cheryl or whatever. You can use that Leon to get the extra edge, because that extra damage could be the difference in getting you that much closer to your victory. It's just a thought, maybe a one of Leon, because you can always just search it out with Starbirth, Arceus, or with Luminian V. You can always just do that. And we have the benefit of getting Luminion V back into the deck if you need to. You can do it in one turn. You can Melanie to the Luminion V, attach that double turbo, and bring it up to the active with a Escape Rope or with a switch. Smack 100 damage for free and then get that thing back into your deck. It can really help you pivot and get around certain things. Another card I did consider was Big Charm / Cape of Toughness. Big Charm, I say, because it could be used with Arceus V-Star, putting it to 310, which are V-Max numbers on the 2-prizer, which is very helpful. It forces the 3-prize game in a 2-prize scenario, which really helps because some decks might be able to hit 280, but not necessarily 300 or 310. The Cape of Toughness, purely for the Dracovish, but if you put that on the Dracovish, you lose access to your Choice Belt, and your Choice Belt is very helpful. You don't want to be losing access to that. So if I were to say if you wanted to put any of those in, I'd maybe say a one of, or that's pretty much it. I don't really know what else. You might even end up using your Arceus V-Star as a prominent attacker with a double turbo. You can get that thing set up in 2 turns. Even 1 turn, attach a double turbo, Melanie to it. Boom, 1 turn, out of nowhere Arceus V-Star. With that double turbo, you'll be hitting 180. 180 is enough to 2-shot everything. Basically everything, except insane stuff like Slowking with like toughness boost, Abomasnow, and like crazy decks like that. But you're going to be 2-shotting pretty much everything in the game with a Trinity Nova. Plus, you can get your Dracovish built up, or you can build up a Luminion if you want to get it back into the deck for free, or you can build up another Arceus V-Star. We play no V-Maxes. You're forcing your opponent to take 3 knockouts. Even better if you don't have to bench these, because you have your Dracovish and your Arceus are a bit more tanky, and that extra HP, it does matter for sure, especially in a format where Choice Belt's coming out, and you're going to be decks are going to be able to hit these numbers a lot easier. The extra HP always helps, and the support Pokemon, they tend to be a little bit flimsy. So that's my deck. Those are my suggestions to improve it. Let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna start making some fun little interesting decks again, just to see what I can come up with. Arceus V-Star really helps everything fit together quite nicely. My other build I was talking about was Leafeon V, with Leafeon V-Star and Leafeon V-Max, maybe a 3-3 line of that, or a 3-2-1 line, 2 V-Star, 1 V-Max. Then in that build, you would lean towards the Galar Mine completely, or a 3-1 Galar Mine to Stormy Mountains ratio, and the rest would remain pretty much the same. You played a little bit more Leafeon V-like. You can add Tool Jammer in there to help disrupt and help get that air balloons off, but your Dracovish kind of does that for you anyways. The reason I say Leafeon is because of the grass typing, but also because of greening cells can help you set up your Dracovish very easily. But in this case, with Arceus, if you go first or if you go second, as long as you're getting your attachment on your first turn, you're going to be set up in 2 turns very easily. You could even get 2 Dracovish set up in a turn, potentially. If you attach to your Arceus, you have 2 Dracovish down. Then your next turn, you double attach to 1 Dracovish, and then you double attach, like attaching a Melanie, and then you Trinity Charge again to a something else. There you go, instantly set up. So overall, I'm going to be playing with this a little bit. When the deck comes out, I'll definitely do some testing online and have a little bit of fun with Brilliant Stars and some of the more new unique cards in there. Let me know what you think. Let me know your suggestions down below, and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Give it a sub if you want to see more, and until next time, this has been Hitmonchanting. See ya.